hi Olivia, and that was it.
Yeah.
Just to like cause some news.
I just feel like I don't know what to think. I don't think if these things are known, it's not messing with his career. It's funny. It's the reviews of his Morbius movie is hitting his career harder than this.
Right.
So it's like, what's gonna happen with Jared Leto in the future? Because after, I mean, I've already decided I haven't seen Morbius, and I probably won't. And if I do, it'll only be to see how bad it was. I know what happened at the very end.
I mean,
but you're the only one really here qualified to give a review. You saw it.
I saw it.
So what did you think?
I don't think it was bad as the critics were saying. Mm-hmm. Like I saw what they were doing and what they're setting up. It was pretty cool. And like I agree with the audience scores, honestly, in my opinion. I just feel like it wasn't as bad as they were. All the people were like, I feel like they were just like intentionally like making it look bad, even though it wasn't as bad as they said. Right. Like I mean, you could understand the story. You could understand the action scenes were great, and so I mean, it's not gonna blow us away like an Avengers movie or some big multiversal like Spider-Man. But I'm saying it was cool what it was doing, and I think Leto did good.
Yeah, I heard that Leto did a good job and everything like that. But I also heard, and I saw on TikTok, I saw what they did with. What's that? The cat's gonna mess with the internet cord. I saw what they did. I saw a clip of the end credit scene.
Okay.
So spoilers, guys. If you haven't seen it, I'm about to talk about it.
There being 2 credit scenes.
And so the whole thing about heavily advertising the connection with Spider-Man in the trailers and then removing that before the movie came out was a problem. When I heard that, I was like, okay.
I heard that scene was never going to be in the movie when he's walking past the graffiti. Like, that was like just the editor of the trailer put that in there. It caused. Well, Marvel's been accused of causing confusion before. Well, I mean, it wasn't like the I don't know who. It was kind of weird. I heard,
the marketing, and the people who do the trailers and the film and the director. That's 2 separate companies. So that's true. That they get a set of clips, and then the marketing company decides what to put in the trailer.
Right.
It's a whole separate thing. The director rarely has influence on the trailer.
I mean, because there's been other Marvel movies where like they take out scenes that were once in like 2 of the trailers.
Yeah.
I mean, it's happened.
Hulk running in Wakanda.
Yeah.
They didn't have that in. That was a misdirect.
Yeah, and then in the Endgame, you don't see Thor or Smart Hulk when they're about to go time travel.
But they didn't indicate that they were going to be. They just didn't reveal it in the trailer.
Yeah, I'm saying, but yeah, I mean, the biggest one was when you said where Hulk was in Wakanda when he wasn't really in that scene.
Bruce Banner was there, but he wasn't in Hulk form.
Yeah. So there's been other things like that too, where like
misleading. But in this situation, to me, it's kind of different because it was like three references in one trailer at one point. There was a Venom reference. There's the
Venom reference is still in the movie.
It's still, but it still doesn't make any sense. That was an ad lib. I mean, he wasn't even in the script. He just said it, and they decided to keep it in there. But the whole thing,
because they're in the same universe.
Is now what they're telling us. But here's my theory about it, and I wanted to based on you saw it, but and based on the little that I saw and what I've read, I have a theory about what's going on. I forgot to mention my theory for Will Smith. Will and Jada are going to get divorced within the next 2 years. Anyway,
another divorce.
Here's my theory about when they referenced Spider-Man and they took it out and all that. I think it caused confusion because we were expecting to get answers from what we were going to see in Spider-Man No Way Home. Where's Morbius take place? What universe? He's in Venom's universe. He's in Tobey's universe. Blah blah blah. All that stuff. Dude, you're saying he's probably in Venom.
Well, no, it's been like because the credit scenes kind of helped it out too, there's like basically they're saying what they're going to be setting up.
He's in the same universe with Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine.
Yeah.
The question was, is Michael Keaton a variant, or is that the Michael Keaton from the MCU?
Let me tell you.
It's the Michael Keaton. I know, because it's the Michael Keaton from the MCU, because they showed the magic spell pulling him out of the MCU and taking him into
the Sony
to the Sony Spider-Man universe, where Venom is. That would have been okay. And to me, it's easily explained.
Yeah.
I could write that it was a glitch in the spell, because based on what we saw in No Way Home, that's not what the spell was supposed to do. You could explain it that when a piece of Venom was left behind, it caused a glitch in the spell.
Yeah.
You could say that. Here's what my real theory is. I think that originally was what the spell was supposed to do. I think people were going to be swapped over from the MCU, replace them with people from the people who know him in the MCU get pushed into Venom's universe. People from the Venom universe get pulled in and switch back and forth. I also believe that Aunt May was probably never originally supposed to die. That she was supposed to get sucked into the it's like the TV show Ghost that we watched, gets sucked off into the Sony universe.
It makes sense though, because the original spell was to have
people who know who Spider-Man is were supposed to forget.
Yes.
Still
know who Peter Parker is.
And then when Peter was messing up the spell, I just basically want people who knew I was Spider-Man before should still know. Yeah. So you cause a mess up with the spell, so people who knew you from before, like Vulture, gets taken out of the universe and gets sent to another universe.
Yeah. But of course,
they took that part of it.
But Vulture's thing happened on the second spell at the end of the movie. By how it.
When he was closing it up?
Because it shows
the purple sky.
And it shows it closing up. Okay. So basically.
And before it closes up, somebody who knew he was Peter Parker gets taken out. Yeah. Which makes no sense. Because why? Unless they showed us that everybody who still. Because it shouldn't have done that. Because. Well, it explains why he still knows who Spider-Man is. It's because he got glitched out and got taken to another universe. But why would the universe of that spell choose him? Out of all the people who know, why wouldn't it choose Zendaya or MJ? Why wouldn't it choose his friend? Why would it choose one of his enemies? Well, obviously because we got to do with Sinister Six.
Well, I mean, it feels like, because he didn't reveal Spider-Man's identity at the end of Homecoming.
But if the spell would have worked, he'd be forgetting. Yeah. He'd still be forgetting.
But I feel like.
But instead of him forgetting the spell, he gets taken out of the MCU and sent to another universe. Yeah. Where and that whole conversation with him and Morbius. I don't know why I'm here, but it has to have something to do with Spider-Man. Morbius should have, and tell me if he said it, because I don't know if he said it or not. Morbius should have, instead of saying intriguing, is I think what I saw him say, he should have said, "Who the fuck is Spider-Man?" That's what Morbius should have said. Right. Why is Vulture having a conversation with Morbius about a man he does not know?
I mean,
and does Tom Hardy still remember Spider-Man? Because technically, for him to leave the MCU, the spell would have had to have worked on Tom Hardy to leave, unless that Venom that was left behind glitched.
Well, I mean, it was just like all the other villains going back to their timeline.
Because the spell was working.
Yeah, because they were sending everybody else back got sucked
making them forget who Spider-Man is. Obviously, Toby and Andrew are exempt from this.
I don't think anybody who came to the MCU in the first spell, they still know who Spider-Man is. I feel like they weren't affected. They were just sent home. The spell.
The spell. Yeah.
It didn't make them forget. It just sent them back to their.
Just cause a new spell to make everybody who knows I'm Spider-Man.
Who's to be MCU from the future.
Create this new spell so the old spell can work.
Yeah. I mean, basically, it's
or the glitch of the old spell can be corrected.
It's correcting the first spell. Yeah. So basically, what brought the people here is sending them back. And they won't be affected by the memory loss thing. It's just they'll be sent back to the universe, and they'll still know who Peter Parker is in their universe. The ones who do know Spider-Man was Peter Parker will still know that. I mean, even if you want to talk about like mistakes, like Electro never really knew that Peter Parker was Spider-Man.
I thought that too, and I said that a lot too. But when I went back and watched Amazing Spider-Man, yeah, he did. He never saw
him without the mask on. He never removed the mask in front of Electro, even in the final battle. So he never knew that.
I went back and I thought, no, I was thinking about Sandman. I was like, no, Sandman never knew who he was. But then I went back and we watched it again.
At the very
he
end
did
of
have
Spider-Man
his mask
3.
off with Sandman. But yeah, you're right. Electro never knew. Electro never knew. But to me, it was about. It explained the title No Way Home. Mm-hmm. If that was originally the spell, like people were supposed to be taken out of the MCU and taken to other places and stuff, they don't have a way back home now.
Right.
They should have. If that was the original plan, they should have kept that in No Way Home because it explained the title perfectly. You could have had MJ, Ned. I would have kept Ned in the MCU because with the magic thing, that could be funny with him and Doctor Strange. But MJ, Aunt May could have been taken to the Sony universe. You could have explained it.
The main theory was that Tom Holland himself was going to be taken out.
That was what everybody. That's what probably should have happened.
Yeah.
But they should have. If that was the original plan, they should have kept that in play. But they took it out of No Way Home. But the second they took it out, if it was there in the first place, then Morbius also should have taken it out. They kept that logic in, which made it illogical because we didn't see it happen.
Did they change all this? Because was Morbius really supposed to come out
before?
Because it's been pushed back a million times.
Venom was supposed to be. Morbius was supposed to be before No Way Home.
Right. So did they?
Because it was gonna be October. Yeah, I'm sure they did. I'm sure they had to because it was be October 2020.
Would it make sense to see all that crap happen, and if Morbius came out before No Way Home, though, we'd have been like, "Why is there? What's obviously it's a tie-in to what's about to happen in Spider-Man, but to see the spell in action before
I don't think that would have been in the movie. I think they reshot things.
You think that was a reshoot thing?
Yeah.
After No Way Home, or right close to when No Way Home was about to come out. But like I said, if you keep that logic in, it makes the title No Way Home make sense.
Which logic?
If you keep that people are getting taken out of the MCU and getting thrown into another universe where they have no way back to get home.
Because that now like No Way Home, like who
has No Way Home?
Everybody went home.
Everybody went home.
So like who was?
That's my point. The title No Way Home implied that everybody thought Spider-Man was going to be the one taken out and taken to the Sonyverse.
No way back.
Because they were talking about Marvel and Sony ending their deal, which is why my theory is still in place. Because this was all being filmed when the Sony Marvel deal was ending.
But then they renewed.
Then they renewed it, and then they were like, "All right, let's take out that whole No Way Home thing and just have people coming from other universes into the MCU, not the other way around." But Morbius never got the memo. So Vulture, because we saw Spider-Man first, that means we didn't see the spell work that way. Then Morbius comes out. Now all of a sudden the spell works that way, and where it never implied that. So now Vulture is in the Sonyverse, and it has to be Spider-Man's fault. I don't know why he would even have that conversation. How would he know? I've never seen Spider-Man use magic before, but it's got to be his fault. Like why would he even come to that conclusion? It's got to be Spider-Man's fault that I'm here in this whole new universe with my technology. How the hell did he get that, too?
There's other. There was a video I watched. He didn't, because his technology on the suit, it wasn't really Chitauri, I don't think.
It was alien technology that he was able to manipulate in the MCU.
Well, I know.
He was taken out of his cell in the MCU into a cell in the Sonyverse.
The suit was different.
Where did he get his suit from?
The suit was different a little bit, honestly.
The technology to where he was. This is probably why people are hating this movie. So the alien technology that he was able to get only because aliens invaded the MCU, he was able to recreate in a world where the only alien that we've seen has been Venom. They didn't bring alien rocks like they did. So he was able to create a whole new suit in a world where, does Oscorp even exist in Venom's world? Does Tony Stark doesn't exist?
If there's a Spider-Man in this universe, there's an Oscorp, because
there is no Spider-Man in the Sonyverse.
Yes, there is. They've confirmed there's a Spider-Man that'll be tied into Morbius and now Vulture. So if there's a Spider-Man, there's an Oscorp because that's how he got his power. So it's through an Oscorp spider.
So in the end
so
credit,
there is an Oscorp.
Did Morbius confirm that it was that there is a Spider-Man in that work?
I mean, by the way he's saying that intriguing, he must know something. But he's not like denying. There's like
he could have just been saying intriguing because he just saw a dude fly right in his face with some crazy ass wings.
He said intriguing like after the whole like this must be something that Spider-Man. It must be involving Spider-Man.
Which still pisses me off. Why did he come to that conclusion? He's never seen Spider-Man use magic before. Why this dude really? Spider-Man saved your daughter. I know you hate him. He messed up your money plans, but he still also, saved your daughter's life and all that stuff too.
Maybe he just knows about Doctor Strange, and knows there is magicians in this place. And Doctor Strange.
Then why didn't he say it's got to be Doctor Strange's fault?
Well, because
he was in jail when all this stuff was happening, so he didn't see Spider-Man and Doctor Strange going through it, and that was happening in the Mirrorverse. Nobody saw it. There is no logically putting this stuff together. It's a self-induced plot hole.
Well, all movies have them, I guess.
Themselves, but my point is they didn't have to.
Right.
If that was the original plan or the original discussion. The second they saw that, oh shit, well, our movie was supposed to come out before there's No Way Home. I think now that's I think if Morbius came out before Spider-Man, then Spider-Man No Way Home would have been forced to keep that logic or that into the spell.
The No Way Home thing.
But the second No Way Home was now to release before Morbius. And they saw that they cut out that part of the spell if it was there from the beginning. They had time. They should have cut that logic out. The whole thing about showing Vulture getting taken to the Morbius or the Sonyverse should have been cut out because people they would have known that us geeks who get sensitive about every little thing. That's not how the spell worked. They knew that was going to be the response.
But we don't know exactly what all happened with the spell though. I mean, we weren't there. We don't know.
We don't know. They.
I mean, maybe there was some.
Unless they explain it in Multiverse of Madness that while he's sitting there talking with Wanda, he's like, "Oh yeah, I got because Kevin Feige did say that WandaVision, Spider-Man, and Multiverse of Madness
like a trilogy.
They're connected. They're all connected. So. There's gonna have to be a 5-minute conversation with Wanda and stuff, and go. Yeah, by the way, after all this, I gotta go and fix what happened with that spell with Spider-Man because it turns out some people are vanishing from here and going somewhere else. But then again, how would he know? Because he said the spell would also work on him. But he was gonna forget Spider-Man. So what would he care that some of Spider-Man's villains are disappearing?
But maybe him leaving. Maybe Vulture leaving is now causing like a void, and it's causing another like branch. Something bad is happening now with his presence not being there when he's supposed to be here. So maybe he's like, oh, something's not right, and now I know that it's because these people. Maybe it's just Vulture, maybe it's multiple people. Them not being here is causing a discrepancy.
Yeah.
In this universe, and it's causing issues, and maybe that's why there's gonna be more multiversal trouble.
If this movie is just a way to make the title No Way Home make sense, I don't think like we're gonna go through a whole Wanda arc, then at the very end it's like the real reason why the multiverse is all going mad is because Venom left some things behind. It messed up that original spell. It turns out I did some crazy stuff with Spider-Man, and now I'm starting to remember it all. Like what if it's all like a big like smooch to Spider-Man again? But I'm just joking.
No, I mean maybe Venom's little Q symbiote is causing something. Maybe.
To me, that's the logical thing, but they're probably
because we are going into multiversal madness, so
and it's all Venom's fault. Now the question is, I'm gonna go back to it. I know you haven't seen any of those things, and we haven't seen the movie. After hearing a little bit about this stuff, are you even interested in seeing Morbius?
If you watch it and tell me I need to see it, I might watch it.
I'm not. I probably won't. I don't know if I'm gonna go to the theaters and watch it. But
I know you probably will when it comes.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely when it comes out on home video. I mean, but you're gonna put me to the test first. You want me to see it first?
Yeah.
I mean,
you can usually tell.
I
if
think
I'll
it's
like
worth
it or
getting.
not.
I think it's worth getting your own opinion on it. It's not as bad as these critics were saying, in my opinion.
I'm pretty sure it's a decent film, but
yeah.
one of the criticisms were that it was written as if it was a movie that came out like in the early 2000s, back when that formula of comic book movie. People say it would have fit up there, with, like between the Fantastic Four films. But to today's standards, people are saying that it doesn't fit in today's standards of comic book films. Do you agree? Disagree?
I mean, it's just because it's not MCU. I mean,
Venom wasn't MCU and it still was better. It was criticized, but it was still almost the same situation. Criticized hard by the critics.
I mean, I liked it. I liked the second Venom and what they did with Carnage.
I'm talking about both Venoms. Yeah.
Carnage looked amazing in that movie, so I liked what they did.
I'm just overall just upset with the whole thing with how they leaned on Spider-Man and they took Spider-Man out. Then they gave a weird explanation about the Spider-Man, the magic that happened in No Way Home. That would have made sense to the title, but since, like I said, when they decided to take it out of Spider-Man No Way Home, they should have then said take those scenes. Those same scenes those tie-in scenes with Morbius out too, because people are going to be like, wait a second, the spell didn't do that in this movie. Why are you saying it did that in this movie? Unless the end credit scene should have had more of a conversation about Doctor Strange or something like that. That should have been who should have been at the end credit of.
I feel like that should have been. I feel like the two credit scenes could have been one credit scene. Well, maybe there was a little bit of time gap because he somehow gets under his suit, was able to forge under his suit. So I feel like him coming in
a world with no Chitauri technology, he's able to create another suit. So now you're telling me that the Sonyverse is so advanced that they're able to create MCU technology, which we know MCU is very advanced because they got alien technology and Tony Stark, with a box of scraps.
A box of scraps. There was one video that I watched earlier today that kind of like made me understand how he got this suit.
Did it make you understand, or did it give you enough explanation to excuse it? Like what did it say?
I mean, I felt like they made a pretty good reasoning. It was New Age rock stars. Like they made perfect sense of how he got the suit and all that. I don't remember what they said, but like when I was watching it earlier, I was like, yeah, that kind of makes sense, and I understood. But,
I mean, unless the suit got zapped and brought in with him, but then it's like, we got this guy from this that in the prison, we don't know who he is, and we don't know who he is, and he has no identity, but we know he's not a prisoner, so let's let him go. Maybe he's a homeless guy. They got in there by accident. Okay, we let him go. That's fine. I can see that happening. But we don't know where this winged metal suit thing who that belongs to. It must belong to this guy. Give it to him too. Then he puts it on and flies away. You're like, oh shit, that was some fancy technology. Maybe we shouldn't have given it to that guy. It feels like it's gonna be very dumb, but it wouldn't have been if they would have just given a little bit or kept it. If it was in No Way Home, they should have kept it in there.
Yeah.
They should have showed instead of her dying, Aunt May, maybe her getting the spell glitch. Could have been showing a bunch of people being taken out or vanishing. That could have been the problem. People were vanishing. And that's why Doctor Strange and Spider-Man had to get this stuff, because regular citizens, even citizens who probably didn't know who Spider-Man was, were just vanished.
Yeah,
it was just random. Maybe it was just randomly
spell messed up.
Spell messed up, and it's randomly picking people, and it's taking them out to the MCU.
Send them to other universes.
And exactly. That would have been a huge problem.
Yeah.
And it would have explained Vulture.
Yeah. See, I feel like because originally Craven was rumored to be the villain of the third Spider-Man movie from the beginning, but then I feel like, they're gonna bring in the other two Spider-Mans. Let's bring in these villains from other universes too. So I feel like they just changed like the whole thing like that. So I feel like that could have been a thing maybe, but they changed a lot.
Oh no,
once they delayed that movie because of COVID, they changed a lot. I feel like No Way Home got changed because originally it wasn't Craven was the rumored villain, and it was gonna be like, I mean, we didn't get the whole like what the in this movie either. Like in the first two. Like it was Aunt May in the first one when they cut off, and it was Peter in the second one. Like I
thought Andrew or Toby should have did it. That would have been funny.
But then they didn't continue that trend for this movie. So I feel like they changed things.
They changed a lot of things around. But my point is, it's the same company. It was Sony.
Yeah.
So if they changed it for No Way Home, they should have knew that.
True.
They should have asked, is there anything that we're changing in No Way Home that'll affect these other movies? They had to have had this conversation. They probably had. They just ignored it. They didn't think it was a big deal.
Because even the director, like before the movie came out, like spoiled the credit scene apparently on Twitter. I didn't read it, but I was like, after I saw the movie though, because there's like videos were talking about how he spoiled basically the credit scene.
Yeah.
And
well, that's the major question, guys. Sorry about for talking. People were watching us, and then we started talking about spoilers, so and then they dipped out. So that's probably why. But sorry about spoiling things. We'll move on. Let us know what you guys think. For those of you who have seen Morbius, what do you think about my theory? If that was the original spell, should they have left it in there and No Way Home? To me, it makes the title No Way Home make more sense.
Yeah.
And what do you think about that? Put it in the comments below, and hopefully that'll be the only Jared Leto controversy to
right
that we'll continue talking about.
Hopefully, the more movie
at all times. And until next time, guys, let's just keep talking. Appreciate it.